Okay, we're gonna make a it's a four-piece puzzle that looks like extremely easy to solve when you first look at it. Then you pick it up and you try to put it together, and it's like it just doesn't go together. So it's like there's a special trick in getting it together. So it's deceptively difficult for such a simple little four-piece jigsaw puzzle. So let's show you how to make one of those. I'm really surprised. I haven't seen this on Thingiverse or any other places when I when I Googled for it or anything. So um, you know, maybe I just didn't look hard enough. But it's very easy to make, so figured I'd make one. All right. So first of all, like any design, you start with a sketch. All right. Pick your plane. We just pick the horizontal plane. Okay. And what we're going to do, all right, so I need to make, um, I found a good size. You can make it various sizes. I like 80 by 80. We're going to, for the entire puzzle. So let's center it around the origin. It makes things easier later on. So anyway, 80 by 80. All right, 80. Tab over the other one. Set that dimension to 80. All right, good. So the four pieces basically are going to be in these four quadrants. A piece here, a piece there, there, and there. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So let's split this into the four quadrants that make up the four pieces of the puzzle. All right, one there, and halfway through there. All right, so now we have four squares which are 40 by 40. All right, so now like all jigsaw puzzles, there's basically a circular. You can make this any shape you want. A circle's really easy to make and looks pretty good. Okay, so this is going to be, we're going to make this 23 millimeters. Okay, kind of make note of the size, or well, I mean, you'll be able to see it in the video. And it should be the key is this circle needs to be different on the top face and the bottom face. That's the key to making this a difficult to solve puzzle. So, but anyway, okay, so 23 millimeter circle. Um, I found off center actually makes it look a little bit better. So we're gonna make this be, oops, 25 is a good distance there, and then going from here to there, centered, which is 20. There's various ways you can center that right over, but anyway, um, that's pretty good. Okay, and then we're gonna make a rectangle to connect the two pieces. Just do that. Okay, and then let's set the size of that. What I found, 15. Okay, 15 is good for that. 15. Okay, so all right, so an issue here is so I want it to be in line with the circle here, so we need to make sure it's coincident. So just take the point, select the circle. All right, that brings it back to the circle. So so those points. All right, so you kind of see how the puzzle piece is starting to take shape. Now we need to basically duplicate this pattern around all four pieces. So we create a circular pattern. Okay, circular. Select our object, and our object is going to be the circle and the rectangle. All right. All right, and the center point is, right, our origin. All right, by default it's 3. Looks kind of funky. So 4 is what we want, right? Because we have 4 pieces. And yeah, now it's starting to look kind of like a puzzle pieces. And in fact, I think we're done with the sketch. So, okay. Right, yeah, looks good. Finish sketch. Okay. Now, normally, if you're going to create a very simple puzzle that, like, your 3-year-old or somebody, niece or nephew or somebody, you're making it for a child. Normally what you do right now, this is not what we're going to end up doing in the end. But normally what you do, you just do an extrude. You select your pieces, right? That, this, that. All right, so that would be your piece. 20 millimeters. Okay, again, this is not what we're gonna. This is not quite. This is kind of to somebody who's not familiar with the puzzle. This is what it's gonna look like them, and it's just like fits together real easy, like a child could put together. Okay, so, but the trick is we're not going to do an extrude. That was just an example of what we might do for a simple puzzle. This is not a simple puzzle. So instead of an extrude, all right, we're going to do a loft, okay? And basically, so we need 2 different sketches between a loft to do the same thing as with the extrude we do, okay? So again, that was just an example of what we're not going to do. So what am I going to do? You just delete it. Okay, so now let's show our sketch. All right, there's the sketch we created. Okay, now what we want to do is duplicate this sketch, and we'll make a minor modification after duplicating it. But we need to duplicate it. Remember our extrude was 20 millimeters? We're going to construct an offset plane. Okay. The plane is just the horizontal plane. Yes, did I get it? Select the horizontal plane. Okay, or it doesn't matter. That face. Okay, I just sort of selected that sketch, I guess. And then the distance is going to be 20 millimeters. All right, so this is our plane. Actually, I'm going to select let me hide the sketch, and it's easier to select. I just select the plane. I don't know. It doesn't matter either way. Okay, anyway, I selected a 20 millimeter offset plane, right? Just like that, from the plane of our original sketch. All right, so just okay. Okay, so now what we need to do is duplicate that sketch onto that new plane, and then we'll make some minor modifications to it. So what I usually do is I edit my sketch. Okay, you need to select everything. Okay, select everything, and notice, by the way, I have, if you get some weird selections, I have it so you get this rectangle. Sometimes freeform is selected, so you want to make sure you have window selection, and then you can, it's easier for me to for this just select everything. So that, all right, and then Command C on my Mac to copy. So you're copying everything in this original sketch, okay? And then I'm just going to undo the edit sketch because we didn't make any changes. We're just copying it, okay? So now I want to create a new sketch. All right, and this time we're going to put it into this new plane that we created. Select that plane there, okay? And we're editing the sketch. Command V to paste, right? So we just pasted the old sketch generated a new one. All right, looking good. Oops. All right, so, all right, click OK because we're good with that. Now, Minor modification. So the key here is, let me get this right here. So the key to the puzzle is that this circle needs to be smaller at one end. It's a slightly a cone, not just a straight cylinder. All right, a simple puzzle is just a cylinder. You slide it right in and it goes in. All right, so the key here is this 23 millimeter circle that we created in the first sketch. All right, one minor modification, we're just going to make that 20. All right, so all right, so one side is going to be, one end is going to be 20 millimeters. The top is going to be 20 millimeters, and the bottom is going to be 23. All right, and when we changed that, it shifted everything. So I just need to just make sure. So we need to make sure that make sure these are coincident. So we pick that and make sure they're coincident, so they're directly on top of each other. Couple of points there. Now, okay, so looking good. We have two sketches. They're almost identical. The exception is the circle's a little bit smaller on the top than our 23 on the bottom. Okay, so finish the sketch. Looking good. All right, those are two sketches. Okay, so now the trick is, instead of an extrude, we are going to do a loft. Okay, what a loft does is basically you need to specify two sketches. I'm going to hide sketch 1 for the first profile. It does an extrude between two sketches and kind of connects all the dots. All right, so I'm going to connect, do that, select that. All right, so we've got, that's one profile. Okay, and then another profile, same things, but on the other sketch. There and there. Okay, pretty straightforward. It's almost like an extrude, except it like figured out how to connect this wide circle to this narrow circle, and then this is also slightly different there too. All right, so that's all there is to that. All right, there's our puzzle piece. It's straightforward, except this. Here, let me hide my sketches. Good. Okay. All right. Right. That is narrower than that. This is wider. This is narrower than that. It's not a perfect sphere. All right. So basically what that means is you have to put the piece down, one piece into the other one from the top in order to put it together. So it's it's something. Okay, so now another thing, we need some play in this. Okay, so here I'm gonna duplicate this around a circular pattern. Usually I just click this, and then we don't want a rectangular pattern, we want a circular pattern, right? Okay, so we select our body. Okay, we're going to select our axis, and then that's the z-axis here. Just pick that. All right, change it to 4 for puzzle pieces. All right, just like that. Okay, looking good. Okay, now the issue here is that we need some space in between. Well, really, we need some space here and here and here, because just to basically get, it's part of you won't be able to solve it if this is directly in line. Okay, and then we also need to right, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now I've already created my circular pattern, but we did that prematurely. So all I'm going to do is roll my history back, and we can still use that. But all right, roll my history. So here's our piece before we created the other pieces from it. All right, so the key is I need to modify this um, and do an offset face. Okay, so I need to make this intersection a little bit bigger than this point here to create a space. Um, okay, so as well as these side pieces. So let's do that. So that and this, okay, and that. Okay, those pieces. All right, so I need this to be a little bit bigger. What I discovered is 1 millimeter is awesome, easy to solve, but it looks a little. It's kind of the solve puzzle is a little bit loose. Um, half a millimeter is doable, but you kind of have to force it in. So a good medium, I discovered that about 3/4 of a millimeter, 0.75, is a pretty good section there. Now, so that I did 0.75, and that actually made it smaller. We need it to be bigger, so it's actually negative 0.75. All right, so it got a little bit bigger. So now this section is smaller than this section here. Okay, that's good. So we created a little bit of gap. Now the other thing is we need to create, especially in here, we need to create a fillet. One, it makes it look nicer, but maybe even more importantly, you kind of need that for solving it. So, let me, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to create a fillet all around the edges of 2 millimeters, just everywhere here. Yeah, all around the edges, top. Okay, do this one there. I think here I'm going to do a bigger fillet just to make it look better, so I'll skip that one. But we do this one here. Okay. And try to select all the edges. Okay. There we go. How are we doing? Okay. Looking pretty good. Sounds good. Okay, so 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters. Oh, it looks like I missed some edges in here. Okay, so by the way, the trick to if you've done this, just what I do is just set this back to 0. All right, I forgot that edge there and there. So what I do is just remember that I wanted 2 millimeters and just set it to 0. And then I got my things back so I can make those selections. This one there. Okay. Okay, and then pick that one, and then back to 2. Alright, looking pretty good. Alright, now let's do it again for pick that one, and that one. This is going to be 5. Is a nice big. Alright, pretty good. This looks a little bit better with 5. It rounds it out a little bit. You know, you potentially maybe even this one you could do more and play with it. And again, these shapes don't really matter too much. It's easy to make a circle, but you could make an oval and stuff like that. But you get the idea. All right, looking pretty good. All right, so looks like we're essentially done. We'll see. Now, remember before I created that that circular pattern? Well, I just roll my history back to where I was, and that's what it looks like. All right, very important to have these gaps there, and notice there's a gap there. If I rotate it, you can kind of see, you can see through, but I had to rotate it in order to see that gap, right? So now, just for fun, I mean, we're done. But I just want to show you kind of what's interesting about this puzzle. So I'm gonna move or copy. Okay, here we are. I move or copy a. Okay, so here's the thing. So we're done. I'm just going to show you kind of what it looks like here. So this is smaller than that, which means that this right in here is this doesn't fit. You can't go down into that because this is too big for that hole right there. Let me go around here. Right, it's just a little bit too big to fit into that hole. Okay, so the only way to solve putting this into here, right, you can't go down into it. You have to come up from the bottom. Okay, all right, so that's right, so it fits nicely that way, right? See in there? Okay, right, fits nicely. Now, here's the problem. This one, you can't come from the bottom to go into that one. Right, let's bring it around here. Right, so this fits nicely in here, but this, it won't fit. Right, so how are you going to get it together? Right, so this one, right, you have to go from the top down, right, to get this in around that. You have to come from the top down, right? From here to get this one, you have to go from the bottom up. So it's like, what do you do? That's the trick. So there's a trick to it. It can definitely be solved, but that's for your imagination. Anyway, I just want to show you that. I didn't want to make any changes there, so I'm just going to hit cancel. So get this around the normal orientation, and there, ponder that. Save it as something. Okay, for Impossible. Yeah, save it into right. So I saved it, but you really kind of want to, if you want to, it's probably better to print these separately so it's not together when you print them. So what I do is save any one of them, body, right, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all identical. So I just save as mesh. So I get my STL file for my 3D printer, right? Save as mesh, and then I save it as right, just save it as a whatever you want to name it, impossible piece. So right, so that gives you two options. One, you can print this on your one of the you can print them all four, and it takes me on my Ender 3D for this size of thing. Took me 6 hours, a little over 6 hours to print it. Um, so that's printing all four pieces basically. Paste them in, and then but you also have an option of printing in four different colors if you do one piece at a time. But all the pieces are identical, so just copy the mesh 4 times onto your for your printer to print. So and that's about it.